Oh, I just deleted the record file. Well, I guess that's fine. Yeah, we're just gonna have, I think, a couple of attempts today. Let me just call it, first. So no, it's the first of the day. Yeah, that's, I think one issue is we're also going for a bit of speed. Not too much. Not a good start either. But you know, I think sometimes for these runs you have to sit back a little bit and for it to come out a bit easier. At least for me, that's my experience of it. So when you try to also do it quick, well, relatively quick anyway, some of the bosses are not too quick. I think it just adds an extra layer of difficulty to the task. The rumbling noise you're hearing in the background is my guinea pigs. They are still arguing with each other. They have been for a while. We did briefly separate them, but that appeared to stress them out because there's like bonded pairs in the group, and we had to separate two of the bonded pairs by a partition, and yeah, they weren't very happy with it. They get separation anxiety. Two of them, well, we believe that they're actually sisters, but it's kind of, it's hard to know for sure. We have one that's not in a bonded pair. She's kind of just chills out with everyone. And she likes to spend a lot of time kind of doing her own thing. But yeah, generally they don't like being apart. None of them like being out of the group on their own. They all hate that. But there's a sort of dynamic going on at the minute, and I think with two of our guinea pigs have just turned 4, which is, it's not old for a guinea pig, but it's not young either. They're sort of middle-aged. And one of them was previously sort of in charge, and now she's sort of, I think she's sort of slowed down a little bit. And she's not unwell or anything. She's just a bit of a change in her energy, which she's kind of managing to keep on top of everyone before, in a sort of in a sort of fairly non-confrontational way. They'd all sort of just get out of our way, but and now the other older one has sensed a bit of a power vacuum, I think. Or maybe perceived some sort of threat to a position, so it's difficult to know. They're not very easy to read sometimes. I don't know, I think it's difficult to rationalise what the reasonings are, but for whatever reason they're having a bit of a tiff at the minute, let's say. But yeah, my feeling is it's because a lot of the disruption has occurred because one of them is sort of a bit older and kind of struggling to remain in charge in the same way as she once was. And I think in a sense we're also reluctant to do so just because it's more effort for her. Oh, I didn't mean to go to the gate front, but that's fine. But yeah, we have two, they're not actually younger than our youngest piggy, but we adopted 2 new guinea pigs, and they're a bit younger than the older 2. They're sort of 2 years old. a lot more energetic, and I think it's just changed the dynamic a lot, so I think there are, for all of them, there are questions that remain unanswered about where they are relative to each other, and I think that also changes as time goes on, so that's why they might argue in the background, as I understand it anyway. Yeah, they don't really have a super well-defined hierarchy. Besides, there is usually one guinea pig that sort of everyone bows to, and at the moment there isn't one. Yeah, the one that was sort of previously in charge and now there's a bit of a question mark hanging over is she's very small for a guinea pig. Like naturally quite slight, just not super long, whereas the one that we think is her sister is much bigger. She's like a significant weight and just general size above the other guinea pigs, which is sort of more normal size, so they're kind of, yeah. So she has like the physical presence to dominate the others if she wanted, but previously she was very sweet, and now she's sort of less so. So it's a bit of a confusing time in the world of guinea pig politics, but there we are. Oh, okay. Oh. I'm quite warm. I have a sort of jacket on at the minute. I'm going to take it off when I next get an opportunity to. Well, that's most likely about 10 minutes from now. I mean, yeah, in terms of the run, like, it is taking us a while, longer than a lot of other runs do, but I think I'm just not as good at this game. Like, I find it much harder. And also the speed thing is, you know, we usually don't go for speed so much. Although I like my runs to be quick. I mean, it's not like we're super quick for this, but it's like I've definitely focused more on speed than I normally do. So I think that's a factor for why it's taking me, why it's been a hard one to get, hard one to close out. I think it also, I've taken quite a few breaks from it, and just like the amount of time in like one sitting that I'm able to dump into it is fairly small. The other thing I think is that the setup for this run is quite long, and it's sort of irritating to reset it, even though the run itself is actually not very long at all compared to other runs. It's like, if I'm going like maximally quick, we're already behind, but if I'm going like as quick as I'm able to do it, I think we can do it around 1:45-ish. I mean, maybe we can make a few time losses here and there and it's not too bad, but that's like the quickest I've seen it ever flash up, and I was going pretty quick, and it was with save files as well, so I had like multiple attempts at sections and stuff to try and get an understanding of how quick I could probably do the run. But yeah, it seems it's definitely doable, and we're consistently at the moment getting, well, touch wood, we're getting consistently towards the end, but I just keep choking in the last section. I don't know if it's nerves or I'm just not ready for it, or because previously I could do the last section fine, so I don't know. I think I've been sort of getting gradually less invested in the run, which is normally I have the opposite reaction to doing badly, and I try harder, but I think my interest in it is sort of waning because I kind of want to move on to another run, so it would be nice if it just ended at some point. It doesn't have to be now, but maybe next week or something. Okay. But yeah, as I say, we've had lots of... It feels like we haven't had very many attempts, but it's actually because we've been getting quite consistently towards the end, and that takes time. And, yeah, I think our distance PB is still just before Malekith. I got hit to the dragon. Which is not too bad, because, I mean, there's a few bosses, like Malekith and Gideon, and... Although Gideon's not really a proper boss in this run, for the most part. Unless he gets away from you. And then the Hoaraloo and Radabeast fight are very close, so... Yeah, it's not very far from the end at all, but I would like to at least get to Malekith, because Malekith's a fight that I find a little bit tricky at times. Let's see if I can get this jump today. Not quite. Ah, come on. Apparently not. There we go, third time's the charm. It's the new tree jump for me. A jump that I've practiced and know how to do, but still fuck up invariably. Oh, I'm so awful at this game. But yeah, I'm excited to move to Dark Souls 3 and do some like random 80% runs. I think that would be much more my speed at the moment. Oh, yeah, wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I still enjoy looking at the game. I think less so playing it now. The actual mechanical part of the game is starting to wear a little bit thin at times. I'm sure if I did more varied stuff on it, it would be interesting. But just doing this run is wearing a little bit thin at the moment. I'm not too hopeful we can get it. Not for a while, but it'll be... I need to sort of stay on top of it to kind of maintain the consistency we have at the moment, at least for the first 90 or so minutes. And then I guess I just need to practice the end a lot in order to be super comfortable with it, to the point where I can just do it automatically. Because I think you just get nervous and stressed out, and then you just do something really stupid. That's happened quite a few times now, so I think we've had 6 or 7 runs in the late game, so in some of the games once I got a run to the late game, it's well, I've cracked it, and then we got it straight away, but this one has been a bit slower for that. Ah, sometimes I can teleport right out. I took too wide of a line, I think. But anyway, it's just a time loss, but it's annoying when I can't get the teleport straight out of it. Yeah, I think you really just want to hug super tight against the wall. And like round the corner in a super tight way. Yeah, I mean that jump that we did earlier, like, I think if it gets to the third attempt, I might as well just not do it. Like, I could just go on the stairs, because the thing will have pathed down. But the idea is that you do it quick enough that it's before the pumpkin head paths all the way down the stairs, so... I mean... It's just annoying that I can't do it. I guess I don't practice it a lot, so... I have practiced it in the past, but... Okay. I mean, I definitely like to do something more in this game if I get the chance to. But yeah, my time, the restrictions on my time coming up are fairly extreme. So I think the amount of time I will have to like devote to doing hitless runs, as much as I love doing hitless runs, is going to be quite minimal for a while. I think I probably will have to like more strictly organize a time when I can stream, like in a week. Oh, hang on. Got to buy it. Right. Oops. Yeah, which is the other impetus to move to Dark Souls 300% runs, is that they just take less time for me to route, and I generally don't really have to make save files for them. Maybe one or two if I'm finding something particularly hard, but like it generally kind of works out. And then we also have the Bloodborne run that's routed that I could then get back up to scratch, and then we've got something to like just keep working, chipping away at very slowly, you know. Okay, let us sit down. I need to try and take my jacket off while also tapping X, that's a bit difficult. I'll just wait until the, the hand holding. There's so much of that in that game. In this game I don't understand what for. I'm sure there's some symbolic reason for it, but I'm not interested in what that reason is, really. Okay, I apologise if you can hear a child screaming in the background. That is not my child, or it's next door. They have quite a screamy child. Didn't seem to go to school either. Maybe he's too young, but I don't know. Yeah, he just seems to scream a lot. I don't think he's like ill-treated or anything. I've spoken to his parents. I guess that doesn't mean, but they seem normal, as far as I can tell. I don't know. It's difficult to have a type, but I never hear them raise their voice at him or anything. I suppose that doesn't mean he's not ill-treated, but yeah, I don't know. I guess he just. Oh, well, what I'm saying is, I think he just likes to scream. Or maybe it's a bit of a phase. He just likes making noise, which, you know, fair enough. Yeah, sometimes I make it sound like I live in some sort of perpetually noisy environment. It's just that I think just during the day, like, the road is quite busy outside. As I say, we live next to the ambulance ambulance depot, and then the fire station as well. They're both on my road, so get a lot of sirens. There's a roundabout, so people accelerate from the roundabout past my house, which means you get a lot of revving, especially from motorbikes. And then next door has... Well, she recently got a second dog. She already had one dog, but I think they've been barking at each other, which is loud. And then the other next door has a kid that likes to scream, so... or by all appearances appears to like to scream, so... Usually quiet at night, which is when you want it to be quiet anyway. There's quite a lot of, like, we live in quite a busy part of the town. Like, we're basically just slightly off the main drag through, so yeah, just general activity happening around us. And then my desk is positioned in the front room, sort of close to the kitchen, so sometimes you can hear the washing machine if I need to wash something, so I'm not timely enough, well, my time management is not good enough to schedule washing necessarily around streams, because I just stream when I feel like it at the moment, so... And also we have a lot of washing on account of the guinea pigs, because they kind of live on bath mats, so we need to wash those quite regularly, because they do be crapping. Piggies be pooping. Okay, so levels... Oops, too much. Oops. Okay. Yeah, I'm not feeling too speedy today. I don't really want to force it. Like, sometimes I'm like super on top of like menuing and stuff, and I'm like thinking about it in advance, and I'm just kind of winging it. Don't really mind. In a bit of a slow mood, I guess. Not that slow, but I'm not so... Don't feel like I'm pushing the time so much, and like perpetually on the verge of some sort of panic attack. Just trying to relax, have a good time with it. It's a long run, just, well, longish. Not long compared to some runs, but it feels long to me, so... I think it feels so long because you just... so much at the beginning, it's not really doing very much, apart from picking up items and stuff. It's probably not that much longer than some setups in Dark Souls 3, to be honest. No way we do it, but... I don't know, it just feels more tedious. There's lots of nice things to look at, though. Yeah. FromSoft really took their like, I don't want to say map design necessarily, but like just the look of their game to a new level in this one, I think. Like it really just so many interesting environments compared to, it makes Dark Souls 3 seem really dull by comparison. Not that I think Dark Souls 3 is dull otherwise, but that's something I do appreciate in this game, that especially if you're like going to explore a lot, which is not really for me, but like for other people who enjoy that sort of thing, there's lots of like really cool places to just kind of hang about in and see what's what. It's slightly different when you're doing a challenge like this, but you're not really thinking about things to look at, but ugh. Oh my god, fluffy animals, they're just blocking the path. God. Oh, James, what are you doing, you idiot? Stuck in the trees like an idiot. What am I, Winnie the Pooh? Come get Piglet to tug on my ass because I got myself stuck in the tree eating honey? I don't know. Yeah, a while ago I looked into the life of A.A. Milne, I think his name is, who I don't know if I'll remember all of the details correctly, but he was the person who wrote Winnie the Pooh, and I think the reason for the bees in Winnie the Pooh, from what I remember, is A.A. Milne had a strong aversion to flies after World War One for some not so pleasant reasons. So the presence of the bees is because he used to pretend that flies were bees in order to, I think, basically not experience his PTSD. So, or it's something like that anyway, which is quite disturbing. But yeah. I think it was the First World War. I'm now questioning myself if I remembered any of those details correctly, but I'm pretty sure the thing about the flies, the thrust of it is correct anyway, that he used to pretend flies were bees in order to not imagine flies and have, I think, flashbacks to World War One, which is not very pleasant. quite an interesting project to undertake after you're being a sole trainer level 1 to write children's books. Yeah, what was I going to say? So I had something, some other general topic I wanted to discuss. Or say out loud, I don't know. There's not really anyone to chat at the moment, so I'm just kind of chatting shit to myself, but just to make the run go a bit nicer. I don't know if there are any lurkers. It's not important if there is, but... Oh, oh my god, okay. Oh, I've just had an important email, so I'm going to get to the oh, what's it called? The table of oh, bollocks, Lost Round Table or something. Yeah, the central hub, the Nexus, the Firelink Shrine. The Majula. Not really. I guess there is sort of one in Sekiro, isn't there? It's that little hut. And Sekiro is sort of too quick for it to be important, but... Yeah, let me just get the 2 smithing stones and I'll... Because anyway, after I do this next bit, I go back to the hub, so I'll quit out and show my time from there. I just, yeah, sorry, this is important, so... no, like, much more important than this run, so... Like... My future hangs in the balance on the strength of this email, so... You know... Better at least look at it. Okay. 1 second. I do apologise. Let me mute. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. I'm not going to bother to explain what that was about, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just say there's a lot to be sorted at the beginning of my new job, and the people whose responsibility it is to have sorted that. I'm trying to phrase this in a diplomatic way. Some of the people who are responsible for sorting out a lot of the paperwork have fallen short, and it's been a little bit frustrating and quite stressful. Yeah, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, but I think my irritation came through a little bit. I do think they owe me an apology, though, but just a lack of effort and cooperation on certain people's parts. And it's kind of left me hanging in the balance at a frustrating time, because I'm wanting to like renew tenancy, but you know, in order to do that, I need to know that I have some source of income, because I've been sort of just bleeding savings for a long time now. So I'm getting a little bit sort of nervous from my position, and then they seem to just not be interested in making this a sort of quick and efficient process. Let's just leave it there, shall we? I don't want to think about it much longer. I mean, I understood that the paperwork would take some time. I did, because it's quite a serious thing, and there's quite a lot to be done. But yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get too much more specific than that. We're actually not too far away from finishing the character setup. I apologise for the break in the middle, but as discussed, it was quite important to me personally. I mean, so the people who are like I'm actually going to be working with have been like super nice and good, and I have nothing but praise for those people, and one person in particular. Just like really on top of things, super friendly, just like I think super good at their job, but they've been sort of left to deal with the situation when it really, I don't think it was their responsibility to deal with it, and it shouldn't have ever been left to, let's say, to get into this. I don't know, I can't even phrase my sentences properly, but yeah, it should never have been allowed to get this bad. But I think, and I do feel for this person. and I just want to start this job because it seems super interesting. But until then, let's try to get this run. It's been a frustrating process as well. Just frustration all around. Oh well. I mean, I suppose in future, if I don't want to... The thing is, I really enjoy working on hitless runs, but I suppose I could do other type of content. Yeah. Maybe maybe if I get a PC someday, I'll stream like more of the practice stuff and more of the like say file making, say. That would be nice. Okay. Yeah, bit of a slower run today, I think. Not too slow, but I just don't feel like racing about too much. We have been shooting for time, but I think if we take a step back, relax a little, we don't need to get a super good time. Not really important. I wonder what they'll do for the DLC. I'll be interested to see what they do. Hey Studio, how's it going? Yeah, not too bad. How was your day of work yesterday? I mean, I suppose, yeah, DS3 is a poison. There's only the first bit is a poison swamp. I would say Ring City's it's a pretty good DLC. Bit too linear, maybe, but. You should have to leave the house, true. That's true. Yeah, I was just lamenting I've had an email from the person who, I don't think it's really their job to be in charge of like a lot of the preamble stuff into starting this job, but it's been a frustrating process. So I just had an email from them, so telling me that they're basically escalating the issue to other people, which is good to hear, but it's kind of frustrating from my perspective. Yeah. But I'm glad it wasn't too bad. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to say too much about it on stream, but essentially there's a bunch of like, you know, like checks and boxes to be ticked and stuff before I can start this job, so, and that's been a frustrating process from the people that handle that. They're like an external like company, so it's not like, it's frustrating, but it's hard to be frustrated because it's not like my future employer that's at all the problem. They've been nothing but, you know, gracious, but it's just annoying. It can't be helped. But anyway, let's get frustrated at this run instead. It's much more actively my job to get it done. The other thing is sort of, I can just sort of only sit on my hands until... Yeah. Or let's fail another run at Godskin Joe like I did yesterday. And Fire Giant. I failed one at Fire. The Fire Giant death was stupid though, that's completely my fault, but so was the Godskin one, to be honest, so I just need to get to the end and not choke. That's really all that needs to happen, because I know I can do the end. I've done it on stream. It's just like, I would understand if I'd never managed to do it on stream, because like doing it on stream and then doing it just in practice it's a totally different experience, but I know I'm capable of doing this run, and we've started to get a little bit more consistent to getting towards the end. So like the end is in sight. It's just been also a frustrating process, because I feel I should have done it already. But you know, that's usually how it goes when you get to PV1 anyway. Like, you know, you can do the run. It's just but it's nice to see you, Sergio. Yeah, I think so. It just, the end's in sight for that as well. It's just I need to not try not to get too frustrated. Like, I think my tone in an email, I was a little bit. All I said was I'm a bit disappointed, which I think I'm within my rights to say. But I felt that I probably shouldn't have said that. But yeah, no, I never talk to anyone the way I talk to myself. Probably if I just put less pressure on myself to actually get the run, we'll get it. Like, that's the stupid thing. No, no, but I don't like to... You know, I don't know how to say it, but... yeah, just in that sort of communication, I don't like to... yeah, I just haven't got the words to describe it. I mean, I think I phrased it as professionally as I could, but I think just emotional displays in general are not good for that sort of conversation, especially when you know, you're just starting out somewhere. I also asked if I could be reimbursed for some postage, but I doubt that anything will come of that. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. They, essentially I had to fill out this form, and it got sent back to me sort of 10 days later, saying, oh, there was a form missing. So I contacted them to say, okay, it says this form is missing, I don't really know what this is talking about. I found something that had like a similar name to it. One second. And then they sent out, they were like, oh yeah, sorry, that was just a mistake, it must have been left out. We'll send it to you. Then they sent the form out, which took a while, because post is always slow. And I looked at it, and it's the same as the form that I'd already filled out that they'd sent back to me. And I was basically saying in the email, look, either you sent me the wrong form, or you didn't check the first time that the form was included. And I was like, if it's the latter, you know, I'd like to express my disappointment. And, you know, I sent this thing express, which was, you know, £10, which is probably... I mean, given the exchange rate, it's probably not much more than $10 now, but I think it's a little bit more. And I was like, you know, and I'm sending it back unnecessarily if it's the case that you already had the form and you just didn't check it. So I was like, could I have the money back? And then they just never answered me. And it's just some paperwork that needs to be. They need to do extra stuff on their end once it's completed. But you know, it's frustrating that that's the reason I haven't been given a start date even. But anyway. Things could be worse, I suppose. Okay. Oops. I wanted both of those anyway. Could have a dragon for an arm. Yeah. That would suck. It's the GG. I just had a moment there during the fight where I guess I've just not been concentrating on the game, but you know when you sometimes just like forget what it is you're doing, and I was like, I don't remember doing the rest of this run really, but I guess I just did it all on autopilot, and I guess you do something like this enough, that kind of thing happens, but usually not that bad. Okay. Remembered I forgot to put the other talisman on. Oh, Godric. No, oh, the one I just killed. Oh, I forgot to pop this. Hang on. Gillica. Gillica's her name. Something queen. The demi-human queen? Full marks, yeah. I thought, yeah, I mean, it's quite memorable, Gillica, I guess, is the only reason, but I struggle to recall all of them at any given time, I'll say. Like, I forgot Godskin Noble's name the other day. I just couldn't remember it. The thing is, I do a thing, and I do it for everything, where I make up a name for something, and then I forget the original name, and I just remember the made-up name. How's that? That's probably good enough. It took me a second to remember it though. I was also doing other things though, I guess. It's kind of, sometimes it's hard when you're like multitasking and trying to do this run to also like chat and recall things, and like I sometimes struggle to just like even structure a sentence. Oh yeah, especially when their names are like something ridiculous, and you're like, the problem with this game is all of the bosses are named God something or something God. I guess some of it's Gott, but Gott is German for God, right? And I know enough German to recognize the word as God, so like that sort of, I find that very confusing. Does anyone actually care about the lore of this game? I think we discussed this before, but I was wondering, does anyone even give a shit, you know, like, in the way that they cared for Dark Souls? Because to me, Dark Souls doesn't have a story, per se. Well, it's got the outlines of a story, but that's all it needs, and I'm fine with that. And, you know, people can add stuff to it if they want, but to me, it was never the appeal of the game. Sort of more of a loose structure. Just ripping off Token again. Yeah, it's possible, I guess. Thanks to GG. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind Game of Thrones. I'm quite the Tolkien fan. In as much as I'm a fan of anything, and can muster the enthusiasm for anything. Like, I've read the Silmarillion a few times, which I think is, you know, a fair amount of dedication to the Legendarium. I'm certainly not the biggest fan. There are people who are way more into it than I am, but, like, I think compared to the average person who, like, just enjoys the movies, which is fine, like, that's completely okay. I'm quite into the Legendarium, and I think sometimes people miss the point that, like, Lord of the Rings, it's not the point, it's not the story, right? At least as far as Tolkien is concerned, he does not give a toss about the story. It's the world building. So I don't see... I know that Game of Thrones, like, George R. R. Martin is like, well, you know, the story in Tolkien is maybe a bit bland, and, you know, mine's got, like, more real people and it's more raunchy. It's like, well, I don't see that you really saw the point of what Tolkien was doing. I think that George R. R. Martin's a pretty good writer, don't get me wrong, but I think he just... sometimes misses the mark on his Tolkien takes. I agree that the story in Lord of the Rings is, like, not that good. It just isn't, but it's the other stuff that's good. Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, his motivation was completely different. I think that's why it's so interesting, right? And, like, people... it's got such a different feel to it because of that. I also don't think Tolkien's necessarily a bad writer. And also the time that he's writing in, like, he's writing for a very different audience than George R. R. Martin is, so, you know. Oops, alright, let's do right card. Like, the Silmarillion is a very, very hard read. Not because it's, like, super highbrow or anything, I don't think it is, but unless you're, like, super into the Legendarium and the idea of the world building, there's not a lot there for you. That was a rude opening. Oh shit. I didn't get there in time. I thought I would have done more damage. This might be the end of the run, honestly. Oh fuck! That was a bit of a rough fight. Not gonna lie. I made the mistake of not punishing the skull attack, and that just makes the fight super scary because it's so easy to just walk into that. So, yeah. I actually haven't failed right card in quite some time, which is pretty surprising to me, but I guess I just practiced it enough that I can kind of bluff my way through the fight if it comes to it, but which is nice to know that that's the case, because I mean, to me, that's really only the case, you know, part of the time in the other games as well. Like, the only game where I feel I can sort of bluff my way through most of it, and like a bluffer hitless run, is yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the just the Lord of the Rings books are very different as well. Like, I think that I love the Peter Jackson films. I think he did a really good job, but just the tone is like pitched to a completely different audience, and like a lot of events happen in a different way. Like, a lot of the time in the books, there's a lot of time to kind of stop and have a conversation and sing a song and look at the scenery, and it's I mean, I guess in a way they sort of do that just by kind of advertising New Zealand, but yeah, all of the battles in the Legendarium are always like, oh, and then they fought, and you know, these people sort of won ish, except it's a fight, so nobody really wins. Which I think Tolkien understood very well as a World War II vet, but there we are. Was it 2? No, I think it was... I think it was 1. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was World War 1. He would have been too old by the time World War 2 came around. I always forget. Yeah, but that's sort of more of the description of it is to be like, is sort of describing, you know, how vile Morgoth is and how sort of pure and Valinor-esque Fingolfin is. You know, it's not. The actual fighting part is not really not really described with too much detail. It's more just here's a picture of how epic they look, and then it's sort of like anime posturing, you know, where they don't want to draw the fight, so they stand there talking about their moves and motivation for like 5 minutes, and then the fight begins. It's GG. Yeah, that guy's not really too much of a problem. I think I've been hit to him once, but it's just because he got away from me, and then so you just like stay on him and hit him. It's kind of fine. But we got Godfrey coming up, which, you know, he's always a bit of a weird fight. Is there some lore about whether is he Horlu? Because he's the same, roughly the same character model, right? He has essentially a similar moveset. Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's more fleshed out in the Horlu fight. But yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like Margit and Morgott are essentially the same, aren't they? I didn't know if they were just like reused character models, because I know they probably overstretched themselves with the number of bosses in this game, but 165 is a little bit too many. But this game is such a tremendous achievement for FromSoft, though. Like, they did such a good job to do a game of this scale. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? They didn't have enough. I don't think they would have had enough assets to really do 165 bosses. Well, they didn't, right? Because there are just so many. I don't mind them reusing things every now and then, but I think probably I would have preferred just do fewer bosses, but have them be more varied. For me personally. Or like maybe even have the same boss, but just make them like some crazy arena and do some kind of stupid lore like the Pursuer or something like that. You're fighting this person over and over again because they're after you or something, you know. And in different scenarios, and then the weapons change or something, yeah. Yeah, Sekiro as well. I quite like Geni 1 versus Geni 2, though. I think that's it annoys me that you don't get the option to just keep fighting Genichiro 1 if you lose. But they are different. Like the moveset is very different, and your abilities at the time are different as well. So you react in different ways. Yeah, I've seen Geni 3. I've actually seen quite a lot of Sekiro footage. I haven't done a lot of the other endings myself. But I think that there, for Genichiro, it's kind of okay, because there's some... He's a character, right? And you're fighting him again. Like, I think Sekiro has much more of like a story to it. Not that I paid much attention to the story, but... Where I feel like a lot of the reused assets in Elden Ring, they're just like reskins of the same boss. I actually don't mind Champion Gundyr in Dark Souls 3. I think they change enough of the moveset. He's like, he feels totally different. He looks the same, but... I mean, that could be a way to get around it as well. You do the same asset, but you just give them different moves. Okay, no. Nice whiff. Cool. Thanks to the GG. I haven't really been paying attention to this run. Anyway. Except actually went, yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, this has been a slow process. It's especially painful that we keep resetting like right at the end and not really improving, but you know. What can you do? Okay. Yeah. Time-wise, we're over halfway through the run, but yeah, I'd say we're sort of about 2/3 of the way through, would be my guess, in terms of time. But we've got that boring run to Fire Giant. Well, mostly boring run to Fire Giant. There's a couple of moments, I guess, but... Yeah, Malakat's a bit of a strange one because he sometimes he just staggers in a weird way in phase 2, and it's difficult to get the damage off on him because you'll like it's so easy to just whiff with the iron balls, but yeah. I feel if we get past Malakath, though, the run actually has a decent chance of just going to the end. Like, Gideon can be slightly weird, but he's generally fine. Orlu's been generally fine to me. Although I imagine I will lose at least one run to him. And then Radabeast is kind of a scripted fight. I'd say it is a scripted fight, but the script is just slightly tight in places, so it's easy to just mess it up. Like, but yeah, I mean, we have to get through Fire Giant and Godskin Giraffe and Crumbling Faramzula for that to happen. So you know, it's just an awkward section. And I think there's a limit to what the practice will do at this stage. Like, I just need to push enough runs to the end that we get lucky once. But it seems we're pretty good at pushing runs to the end at the minute, so, you know. In the last, I think, 3 or 4 streaming days, I haven't had a run that hasn't been at least a Fire Giant. Touchwood, so... Oh, I mean, this is essentially 2 Fire Giant, there's not much to do, but... We have been quite unlucky a few times as well. We got some weird RNG, but... I mean, in principle, I should be able to deal with all of that, but, you know, if you're nervous and you get something weird, it's... You know, it really changes the run, so... Like, the way you would react to it in a save file is not the way that you react to it in a live run. I honestly think that's why so many people have such a hard time with Cinder, because they don't fight him in the same way that they would. Like when they get a run to Cinder, they don't behave in the same way, and he does something weird that they're not used to fighting. I mean, Cinder's a hard boss just because of, like, he just has a huge kind of catalogue of moves. But I guess you don't really need to know all of them most of the time. I forget to level up this time. I forgot to level up before Fire Giant last time, which was not helpful. Oh. Yeah, it's pretty tiring. Like, yeah. I don't mind the whole, oh, you know, you can't get through this door right now, you have to go off and do something else. But this section is so boring, man. Like, it's honestly the worst part of the run. Like, the setup is tiring, because, it's 45 minutes of doing just, like, picking up objects, but at least there's something to do, right? At least there's, whereas this, it's just looking at frozen tundra. It's not even that interesting an area. The only things that are kind of cool are the floating trees. Everything else is like, whatever. Yeah, there's like zero to do in this run, in this section, apart from just get to Fire Giant, which is, ugh. And then Fire Giant himself is a terrible boss. I think the general quality of bosses has suffered compared to some of the other games. Which I understand, it's like, for the sake of other things that they have to do, but the bosses are kind of trash in this game, for the most part. There's some that I like, but I like Godfrey. Godfrey's cool. Godric's semi-interesting. Rykard is like an interesting concept for a boss, but like to actually fight is pretty dull. I don't like fighting Godskin Noble, but I think his moveset is somewhat interesting anyway. The pudding roll is kind of annoying, but they're very irritating to fight. Harry Lou's pretty okay, but he's basically just Godfrey, as previously discussed, and I already like Godfrey. And I think Harry Lou is actually worse than Godfrey, because his moves are a bit more annoying, but... I mean, Radagon's like normal moveset is quite fun, I think, but he doesn't actually really get to do anything in this run, so... And I think Elden Beast is, while an interesting looking boss, is fairly boring to fight as well. Yeah, I think this game is more aesthetically oriented than it is kind of combat oriented, but not that the combat's bad or anything, but it's definitely a very good game. I just, yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's cool. The sound design is good in this game, definitely. Take this off, heal. Alright, it's time to pray. Oh, I don't like this opening, but there we are. The double hit. Nice. There's the GG. Okay. Well, we know what's coming next. Yeah, I feel myself getting nervous already, which is not a good sign. I need to, like, just relax, calm down. It's gonna be fine. And even if it isn't, we'll just do it again, right? We'll do it however long it takes, we'll keep doing it. So I don't know why I'm so, like... Right. Oh god, Elden Ring. Oh, I haven't checked how we're doing for time. I'll check it in a second. Well, I'll sort out my inventory, then we'll check. It's probably not great, but... Alright, I mean, we're sub 130 and Fire Giant is dead, so... You know... I've seen worse. I don't think it's our quickest run ever, but... Okay, don't do anything stupid like fall off. That would be really dumb. You know how to do this section. You know how to do the bosses. Just do it. It'll be fine. I mean, even I'll be happy if we get a distance PP. Like a minor improvement at this stage is still something. So. But I mean, this is a good run, whatever happens as well. Like, I should appreciate the fact that, you know, 90 minutes of the run is still a lot. You know, it's most of it. Okay, don't fall off here. That would be stupid. There we go. Don't fall off here. Okay. Let's pray for a good Godskin duo. Oh, shit. The first bit of the fight is fine, it's just when we throw the the sleep part that... like the third sleep part. That things get awkward. Did that get him? Yes. Nice. Thanks to GG. Okay, let's not fall off or anything. Try and get a run to Malekith, that would be super nice. Although we're pretty close to our distance PB right now, so... Yeah, relatively, although I have lost a few runs to Firebro and Duo as well. So that bit's not mega consistent for me, but just generally, up until Fire Giant seems to be working very well at the moment. So if we could just get a bit more consistency deeper into the run, I have no doubt we could get it, but... That or we just get lucky now, which would be nice. Oh. Let me actually buff that. Shit. Okay, I might have fucked this again. Who knows? We might be alright. The gambits lasted longer anyway, so... Alright, this distance PB. Let's try to get to Malekith, thanks to GG. Just don't fall off. I would hate to die like that. looks like we're getting to Malekith. Still got one more enemy to get past, but we should be fine. No, don't go behind the pillar. Fuck's sake. Damn it, that was terrible. Too nervous. Fuck's sake. Calm down. God's sake. Ugh. Nice. Let's go. Well, I'm happy with that, to be honest. Yeah, whatever it's called. Adelando, yeah, that's the one. Dusty Londo or something. Although to me it reminds me more of the Ringed City DLC than anything else, but there we are. Well, near distance PP to Gideon. This is pretty close to the end of the game, so, you know. We're actually on track to sub 150 as well, which is pretty nice. Nice. No fuss, no muss. Just the last two bosses. I probably fail, but it's fine. Just don't slip off here, that would be sad. Gideon's the hardest boss, true. True. Not as hard as Margit, maybe, but... This is a nice feeling, though. It's nice to be at the end, whatever happens. Okay. Not the opening I wanted, but... Nice, we got the double hit as well. That was a very clean Horley. Okay, in principle this is a scripted fight, but I am nervous, so who knows. Well, that's Radagon dead. He almost got away from me. That's the run. There we go. Not quite over yet. I'll get to the end and... Oh, thanks, Cheat. Welcome. Nice to see you right at the end. Oh. Oh. There we go. Yeah, definitely. Definitely stopped in at a good time. Oh, thanks for the sub. Thanks, so man. That means so much. Hey, look at that time. Okay, let me check. 146.51. Hey, that's pretty good. I'll probably put that on the boards.